We'll have to show you the ugly side of the camera for a minute. Hey guys, I'm Alec. You guys probably already know me. If you're getting a notification about this, you're probably following me. Man, my camera's dirty. It's been a busy week. I've been doing a lot of carving. Just waiting for folks to join in. The dust falling from my hair. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. I'm just, again, just waiting for folks to join. Today is going to be a demonstration day. Per usual on wood carving Wednesdays, I'm going to do a 1 hour demonstration. I usually lie to myself and say I'm doing a 45-minute demonstration, but today we're going to go a full hour. And so today we're going to be making a carving, hopefully from start to finish. And I found a neat piece of wood, so we'll get into that shortly. But how's everybody doing? Is everyone doing well? I'd love to hear from you guys. Would love to hear like what's going on in your worlds, what you've been up to. If you've seen any good movies or read any good books or anything interesting has happened in the wood carving world in your life, feel free to share in the comments below. You know, within reason, right? So, yes, so I have been working away. I'll do a really quick show and tell per usual, and then I'll get to the demo. But let me just say a couple of ground rules. This is a conversational thing. The idea is to go live with you to have a conversation. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And I try to read the comments. I don't have my wife with me here today, so I'll be doing my best to follow along here. And so, yeah, I'm going to bring you along. We're going to see what we can get done. But John Carper, I heard a John in here. He says, hey, glad to jump in today. Just had a baby at the end of June. Congrats, man. I really, that's so exciting. That's a wild journey to embark on. I'm excited for that myself. And yeah, what does that feel like? That must be a crazy feeling. So here's a couple of things. Oh yeah, I should say too, Werewolf Whittler, I see he has a question. If you guys have a question that is within the realm of relief wood carving or wood carving in the round, I do some chainsaw as well. Please feel free to message me here. If you have a question about something, I can try to answer it. So this is a fun one. Maybe I showed that last live stream. Oh boy, there's tons. I'll keep the show and tell to a minimum because we have to get into this. But here's one that I finished up. Kind of cool, kind of fun carving. Here's a sunflower. Kind of fun. Thank you, S. Chapman. Okay, guys, this one's weird. I use a process. It's a gilding, but it's a specific type of gilding, and it's where you. It's kind of my version of it. I don't know if you can really see. The picture quality probably isn't great here, but underneath this layer of black, again, you really can't see it unless you're up close. Let me see if I can get some light on there. Yeah, see the gold undertones here? Well, that's actual gold leaf. So I used a gold leaf underneath the char layer, and I'll have to explain that if for those of you that are interested. I won't bore you now, but it's a very cool kind of medieval technique of finishing wood. The name escapes me, otherwise I'd tell you. But anyway, lots of little experiments this week between the gilding. This is also gilded, the flower. And then her face is actually bleached. This is my first time experimenting with bleach. And it looked, I made a video for those of you that saw it, looked pretty yellow initially. And now it's quite a bit less yellow and green. It's still a little bit yellow and green. And so it's not ideal, but it's definitely better. And I've been doing tons of wood spirits, having lots of fun with green men and wood spirits. And maybe another fun one I'll show before we get into it. This is a lady with long flowing hair and a piece of bark. And so this was kind of a fun carve as well. So I've just been experimenting with different things, having fun with the gilding. I'm going to try to gild probably a couple more carvings before I'm off to this next show. This one's kind of weird. Big, wide, low relief carving. Not a lot of depth there, but kind of fine. I had fun making this one. It's just lots of character. And so some chainsaw carvings that are outside as well I've been working on. And so I've been a busy beaver. I've been making lots of carvings. You get it. Without further ado, let's get into the carving. I'll try to look at a couple of questions before we do. Have you encountered problems with someone stealing your videos or other stuff? How do you combat this? Stealing your videos or other stuff? Werewolf Fiddler. I'm not sure what you mean, to be honest. Maybe be a little bit more specific. When you say stealing your videos, do you mean maybe taking an idea of one of your videos? Do you mean literally taking the physical video and uploading it to a website without permission? A lot of these things are common, and all of which have happened to me before. But S. Chapman, hey Alec, of all the carvers, you're the best. You are the one that explains the best. Oh, I appreciate it. That means a lot. That's a huge deal for me. So, all right. Again, this is a conversation, so please feel free to jump in. But we are going to start the carving. I wanted to get a little bit further away from this piece of wood and get next to it, just to give you a sense of the scale and the shape, and the reason, give you a sense of why I picked this piece of wood for this demonstration and for this upcoming art show. I think it's probably one of the coolest pieces of bark that I have, and it's just been tucked away in a corner, hiding in my wood shop, and it's totally beautiful. I mean, if you look at the coloration of the bark coming into this striation and this kind of conglomeration of materials, kind of like almost like burl, super cool, and I'm excited to do something with this. I feel as though I have to go with a wood spirit. I've been really wood spirit happy lately, and I make no apologies for that. But just because I think this would be a perfect segue for hair. I mean, I could also do something with branches, etc. But I just think, a green man would be okay, but I don't know if I'd be able to utilize this movement quite as well. So I'm going to try my hand at doing a wood spirit and tying it into this piece. So there's that. Beautiful works, by the way. Love what you showed. Yes, more like re-uploading your videos or maybe photos of your work without crediting you. Oh, yeah, for sure, Werewolf Whittler. It does happen, and luckily I have great friends that have tracked some of these people down and tagged me, and it definitely happens a lot. I mean, the internet is the Wild West. You definitely can't control what goes on to a large extent. There are things you can do if folks steal your work, but it's inevitable is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. All right, so I've got this set up. I've got it focused on this piece because this is the primary focus of the whole carving is right in here for now. I'll try to pan down and get you a little bit more of an idea of what's happening. But, yeah, all right, let's get into it. So, to start, I'm not going to really go into like extraordinary depth as to my thought process behind this and how I'm driving all the proportions. I'm just going to relax, enjoy it, and hope that you will too. If you want to see me talk about that stuff, I have an instructional school. I have free videos on YouTube that are usually of a more beginner level and intermediate level, and I have a whole bunch of stuff on online that's more geared towards I'm just setting up my timer here while I'm talking on the iPad. That's geared towards people who are beginners, intermediate, advanced, and that's a lot more in-depth. And so for the last 3... Oh, it looks like we had a connection issue. Can you guys see me still? Excuse me. Yeah, shoot me a comment below if we're still connected. And if I don't get a comment, I'll know that we're not. Oh, okay, we're on 422 Maple. Let's see. How's the connection, guys? Are we still on? Cool. Awesome. All right, so hopefully the connection's good enough here. Let's get into it, guys. I'm going to start the timer. This is, gosh, we've been going on for a while here, so it might only be a 45-minute carving, but we'll see what we can get done. I really don't know exactly about the approach, but I'm going to figure it out as I get along here. And that's to me what's fun about these Wood Carving Wednesdays is just having fun. You get to see the process. I get to chat with you, and we get to have a good time together. So, all right. I'm just taking a second to think. I'm going to start the timer just so you can see that I'm starting the timer. There it is. Timer is started. Got 45 minutes on the clock. And that's that. I know it likes to focus on my tools sometimes. So if I zoom in, that kind of helps it to focus on the right thing. We'll see how it goes. But big crack coming in down here. It's definitely going to make its way into the carving. At least I'm pretty sure it will. Another crack coming in here. I don't know how much that's going to affect the entire piece. It could affect it a whole lot. It might not affect it at all. I do think it's going to affect it, though. I'm 90% sure. So we're going to see what we get into here with this piece of bark. Birch is really great too, as far as other woods. Mahogany is awesome. Pine. There's a whole number of woods that are, larger domestic hardwoods are often good. Maple can be a little hard, but is great to carve. So you don't have to use cottonwood bark, but per usual, when you're sanding, definitely be sure to wear dust protection or at least be outdoors. And just do your best to take care of those lungs. You only get one set of lungs, and so it's important to take care of them. All right. How are we going to do this? Let's see. How are we going to do this? Now, this is a very static piece down here. You can see it's in other words, it's very stiff compared to all these cool moving parts. I guess if you want to call them that, just kind of squiggly lines. So I'm going to have to really be careful about how I set this up to try and make this a little bit less stiff looking. So I'm going to try to create some movement in there with the hair. And, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have him facing this way, kind of downward, and then have his mustache kind of come off here. Yeah, so I'll have to carve him upward a little bit more. So we'll do that. We'll have his face be something like this. So I'm using a really wide, this is a 1-inch gouge, and the only reason why, actually 1.5-inch gouge, but is because it's dirty bark, and I'm starting to resent the fact that I'm using really well-sharpened tools for hardwoods to get really damaged by the surface of this bark, which is very dirty. So I've been going with a bigger kind of rough-in gouge that I don't keep as sharp. I'm not as worried about maintaining. So that's why you'll see that big 1-inch gouge coming into play here, or 1.5-inch gouge. So I'll try to tie the mustache down into here. There's a little bit better of a focus. Okay. Okay, so right now I'm not actually using a reference photo, and the reason I'm not using a reference photo is I just don't want to have to be weighed down by that. I want to be able to goof off and make up stuff and not worry too much about it. Usually I do. Often I have a photo, but today I'm just in it to have fun, right? See what I can get done without it. What have I been up to? Titus asks. Hi, Titus. The day's been good. Yep, I did one kind of bigger bark carving today, and so that's been taking up most of the carving day at least, and then working on the book. For those of you that don't know, writing a book. I keep saying that because I'm trying to do my best to let people know, in case they don't, that I'm writing a book on carving faces. So, and that's Fox Chapel. It's going to be coming out. It's going to be a pretty good kind of resource if you're into carving faces. I believe that it will be a helpful resource for you. So yeah, check that out. Although it's really not for me to decide if it's a good resource. It's more for you guys to decide. So shouldn't speak so soon. Going to the other big wide 1.5 inch gouge. This one's a little bit flatter, so it's kind of nice for doing some forehead details. Oh yeah, cracks coming right down the center. I kind of like that. Convenient timing. I had no idea you were releasing a book. Oh, cool. We'll catch it on the replay. Noah, Noah must have to leave. It's okay. Your book will be primarily at cottonwood bark? No. Actually, I have yet to contribute a cottonwood bark project to the book yet. That's my next project. There will be one cottonwood bark project in the book, but no, most people can't get access to the bark or don't have access to it across the world. So I'm focusing on one of my new loves, which is birchwood, basswood, and then I will do some cottonwood bark. So yeah. As far as the book is concerned, for those of you who are maybe just tuning in. Ooh, let's make his nose crooked. I like that idea. What you guys been up to? How you doing? Any big news? Any friends out there with big news? John Carper is having a baby. That's pretty awesome. Got to meet John at Iowa. He was the sweetest dude. Super, super awesome student. Probably one of the more fun students I've had in a long time. No offense to the rest of you. He was just super engaged and, I mean, just on his hands and knees looking up at different angles and observing things. And I mean, just the kind of person that you just love to have in your class. So I don't know if John's still here, but he's an awesome dude. And much respect to him. He's really just grown so quickly in carving. It's so fun to see. So many of you, for instance, Brian Melton is a friend of mine. I remember when he came to the shop maybe 2 years ago. Was it? Maybe 3 years ago? I don't know when it was. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And he was just kind of trying to figure out faces, and seeing where he's come now is just awesome to see. Who else? Nate Ellerton has made so much progress and had so much growth recently. And oh man, there's just a whole bunch of people who I've been following who are just absolutely killing it in the carving world. And yeah, there's John. Yep. Yeah, so definitely congrats to John. Titus says he struggles with faces, so it'll be nice to have a book. Cool. No need to fear. Savage Woodsman is here. So anyway, yeah, I'm really encouraged when I see people starting out who are just absolutely excited about carving, and they're giving it their all, and they're really passionate, because there's a lot of hobbyists in the world of carving, and I would put myself in that category to the extent that, what am I doing in my free time when I'm not working on carving? I'm carving. So I do have fun with carving. I do it for fun. So I'm both a hobbyist and it's also my trade. It's also the way that I happen to make a living. So that's a good place to be in, except for you do a lot of the same thing all the time. Sometimes that can get, I don't know. It can be a little bit much for your eyes. Sometimes you need to rest them, but yeah. Yeah, congrats to John, right? having a baby, or had a baby. So yeah. What else? Who else? My assistant, Sam. He's actually, I've called him my assistant for years, but really what he's been doing for me lately is video work, editing, and sometimes filming. And his editing skills have just gotten so much better. If you're a member of the online school, you're seeing his work, and it's just awesome to see what he's doing with the content that I'm filming for him. The quality of our videos has gotten so much better, which I know is it's not the most important part of the lessons, but or the videos, the content, but it is important. So we've got professional gear, actual professional gear we're working with now, which has been a huge blessing. So, and Sam is just absolutely killing it. But I was gonna say his carving skills have also really improved, and he's actually been able to help me on some finishing on a project recently. It's kind of a little test that I gave him, and he's passed the test, and he did a really good job of finishing this carving that I gave him to finish. Just some, just a few details and some sanding and wood finishing. And so it's kind of cool, the idea that I might be able to have somebody assisting me in the shop with bigger projects and not just with filming, because that's kind of the only real way I've been able to use my the skill of my professionals has been to hire them to do videos. But I haven't really done a whole lot in terms of collaboration except with Abby Peterson. So losing you on audio, and it's in and out. Make mic placement, maybe? Is that anyone else? Bad weather coming tonight, Bub. Better batten down the hatches. Oh, really? Oh, thunderstorm, huh? I didn't know. When you carve birch, is it dry or green? I carve it dry and green. Hey, guys, let me know. Is the audio going in and out? Is it just art? Please, 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 please let me know, because I don't want to be doing this. I'll start and stop, or I'll stop and start a new one if it's the connection's no good. Let me know ASAP, guys, if you can. If you're listening to this, just make a quick comment. Okay, good. Oh, John Carper says in and out. Savage Woodman says you're good. So weird. Can hear you fine. Okay, I don't know. Hopefully it's just a local problem. One thing that's been on my mind lately, if I may quickly go into this, kind of go off topic a little bit, is thinking about making bad work. I was listening to Seth Godin talk about writing, and that's relevant to me because I'm writing a book. But what he said was actually more impactful to my carving than to my writing. He said, when confronted with this question of, how do you have this sort of stability, this sort of like endless body of excellent work? Seth Godin writes a lot of blogs, and he's really good at it. And Seth said, well, I would love to see your bad work. I would love to see your bad work, because truly the most important thing to the quality of your work is the quantity of work that you produce. And so he said, you're going to have a lot of bad work. But he said the other issue is you might not be the best qualified person to determine if your work is good or bad. And to me, that was the real clincher. That was the real thing that set me back, was the idea that sometimes I'm making a carving. I absolutely hate it. Guys, I'm sitting in the shop. I'm furious at myself. I don't know if you guys have been there, if it's just me, but I make mistakes on carvings, and I just don't like a lot of them, right? And there's so many carvings I'm producing that I'm just like, about. And part of that is my standard of quality is growing, and I can't just put out the same stuff that I've always put out. I want to make it better. I'm hoping that's part of it. But another part of it is that I am not always the decider about whether it's good or not. So a lot of times I have a close friend give me input. And yesterday, a close friend came over, gave me some input on a carving that I thought was great. And he said, you know, I think the inside of the nose right here, this transition needs to be softened up on a carving. And so I looked at it and I looked at it. I said, you know, this guy's right. He's absolutely right. So it's not only on the carvings that you think are really bad that they might be good. It's that the ones you think might be good could have serious problems. So having people in your life, even with the solitary, you know, role of a carver, you know, it's important to have people around who can give you input and tell you whether what you're doing is good or bad, or and then fostering those relationships so that those people feel encouraged to tell you when something needs work, because half the time people won't say those things because they're embarrassed or don't want to embarrass you. So I don't know, call it insecurity, but I need to have other people's feedback in my work. I mean, I love that. I crave that. You know, I can still grow and still make good art without the feedback, but no, I think not to the same extent that I would otherwise be able to if I had really strong feedback. So rant over, that's all. That's what I've been thinking about a little bit. I'm my worst critic on almost every piece. Whittling faces is 1000% easier than carving faces, but the detail in carving is way better in my opinion. Oh. Yeah. It's when you turn to carve. But fine for the most part. I have crap internet. Every now and then it's coming in and out. Is it still doing okay or what? Is it watchable? Hopefully it's not too rough. So talked about giving this lower part some movement. I'm going to try and focus on this here, even though I know it's going to be a little bit blurrier because it wants to focus on these tools. Most artists don't handle criticism. That's why you're above the... Oh, thanks. Yeah, Savage Woodsman, I struggle with it though. I mean, when he was referencing how it's helped me, and Savage Woodsman said in the comments, you know, and yeah, I still struggle with it. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear criticism. You know, when my friend offered that criticism, I told him, "Oh no, I love it." But deep down inside, I'm thinking, "Geez, why do you have to say that?" Right? Yeah. Yep. But yeah, it's always tough. Hold on one second. I got a message coming in from the wife. She says, rolling coolers are better for an art show. Oh, yes, I'm getting a cooler. Guys, if you're doing an art show, get a nice cooler. She says, okay, what should I do, guys? Do you have any cooler input? Igloo. It looks like the Yeti coolers, but much cheaper, and cheaper than the Arctic sale. Any experience on the Igloo? The fancy Igloo coolers? Anyone experience? Any outdoorsmen out there? Did I lose you all? Anyone get the fancy Igloo coolers? No one on here? All right. I'm just going to be forced to make an uneducated decision. Yeah, go with the Igloo if they look nice. Cool. Titus says, outside critique is super important for improvement in anything, but especially in art. Yeah. I agree. And you know, there is a philosophical opposition to this, which is, you know, art should only please you. That if you're the person that says it's good, then it's good. And I don't know. I don't always agree with that. I think it's good to have outside opinions. I mean, I've made so many carvings where mom or wife or friend will come in and look at it and go, oh, the belly on that deer is way too thick, or oh, the nose on that is just a little bit too flat. I mean, I've had, you know, world-class painters look at carvings that I've done and give me critiques on them, and it hurt in the moment, and it will hurt. It probably will hurt in the moment. Maybe you're a better man than I, and it won't hurt, or a better woman than I. That's a funny slip up. Maybe you're a better woman, or if you're a woman, I can guarantee you're a better woman than I. I'm sorry. Point being, it's not easy. It never feels good to get a criticism from me, but I always end up being appreciative at the end of the day that I got it. Do you want the one that looks... Oh, there we go. She's messaging me on Costco. Yeah, get the... Yeah, get the one with wheels. No one on here seems to have experience with the Yeti. I asked them already. Or the Yeti, the Igloo. But yeah, if it looks good, you can even do a Google search and see if there are any good reviews online about it. See what they are in general. If it's like 3 out of 5 stars, you know, on Google, don't pick that sucker up. But it's good. It looks cool for me. To me. I like to do Yeti overrated, Savage Woodsman said. See, these guys, I know these guys have opinions on coolers because we got a bunch of carvers out here, and a lot of times they're outdoors people and they have nice coolers. Okay, so I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. We like to do our shopping on these live streams. So my wife and I, we could have phone calls, but it's a lot easier just to have these conversations over at live stream on YouTube. So that's always good. Any other comments I'm missing here? No, just my wife shopping. We got 23 minutes on the clock. I've had a 45-minute timer going for a while. Well, for whatever that is, 22 minutes. Yeah. And you know, a lot of times it's really easy to get the main shapes in, but then, you know, I'll fiddle with these for a few hours after the fact to really dial them in. But, you know, in some cases, a carving will come together in an hour that is better than one that I've spent 6 hours fiddling with. So I don't know exactly what that is. Sometimes you're just in the right space mentally. I feel like I'm in a pretty good space now mentally. I've had a little carving break. I was working on other things today, so. Hey! I have your carving. I need to get your carving in the mail, Mr. Belmonte Steak. And actually, do you have a steakhouse? I've always been curious about your title on Instagram or YouTube here. Hey Glenn, hey Greg again. Yeah, when other people like your carving, it does boost your spirits, doesn't it? Sometimes when I ask my wife what she thinks about a carving, I know that I'm too fragile to actually hear the truth, so I'll just say, oh yeah, I'm not going to change this carving. So tell me you like it. I'm about to show it to you, right? Just say it looks awesome. I don't want your actual opinion. If it looks bad, keep it to yourself. Because I mean, there comes a point where you've been working on something for 6 or 8 hours. You're about ready to call it, and you want someone to say good job, even if it's not a good job. Even if you did that terrible job on the carving, all you needed was a wonderful person to come in and say, "That looks great. You did a great job." Let's see. All right, I'm gonna get this light coming from back here. Let's see what I can do to excuse my getting in the way of the camera here. I already like his spirit. He's got kind of a calm spirit to him, and I'm getting better at this. whole thing of liking the things that, letting myself like things a little bit. I don't I don't want to get too carried away with liking what I'm doing, because then I don't know. Part of me is afraid that it'll get worse if I like it, if I say that I like something that I'm doing, or it'll come off as arrogant. But I don't know. I've been living and carving for too long to not just say I like that. That's cool. If I make it and I like it, I'll say it. So I don't know. A word on humility. Maybe it's not humble. No steakhouses, sadly. Though jokingly told my coworker I wanted to start up a sports bar called Ribbers and Days. A natural line in his forehead is great. Cool, glad you like it. Yeah, Titus says, getting compliments on your work you've done is such a great feeling. I don't like most of the things I carve. I feel you, Glenn. I don't either. I think that's why when something turns out that I kind of like, I'm really surprised, and I end up being really super happy. But I think what happens is, I always say, if I like a carving that I'm working on, just give me a few seconds. For sure, I'll start hating it. I will start hating it. So there'll be a period of time in this carving where I'll be really upset. Maybe I won't even admit to it, but you'll know, because I'll be sighing a lot, or maybe I'll just be making passive-aggressive remarks. Sometimes I'm screaming at old ladies in the neighborhood through the window. Profanities. It represents itself in different ways. Sometimes, it comes out sideways. Is there such a thing as carver's block, like writer's block? Oh, that is an awesome question. I want to answer that because I have felt this sense of carver's block before, and I've also felt writer's block, where I don't know what to write about. But I tend not to give myself permission to have that to any serious extent. Like, what I've noticed is sometimes I'll be worn out. I'll be tired. I need sleep. I need a meal. I need to work out, to relax. That's a thing for sure. But I tend to subscribe to the belief that writer's block and carver's block is it doesn't have to exist, right? Like a really great songwriter said, I never struggle to write, because if I'm struggling to write, I'll write about that. It's like, when I'm not feeling carving, I still carve, right? And sometimes some of my best work comes out of that, pushing through. It's a lot more like a job than some people think. It's even more like war. Like, you show up, and you definitely won't feel like showing up, but you have to do it, and you'll wage war and win a lot more often if you you're not dependent on the way that you feel, or whether or not you have the muse working in your favor, or you're feeling creative, right? I don't always feel creative. I didn't feel particularly creative when I started this video, and it's rare that I do. Sometimes I feel ridiculously creative. I'm feeling like I can make all kinds of things, and it's not always the case that it turns out better because of that. So I tend not to try and listen too much to the way I feel about things, I guess, lately. I put less stock into that than I used to. Any comments that I missed here? I've learned that when I don't want to whittle, that's when to whittle. It turns out better to me. Oh, cool. I'm glad you've had the same experience. I've recently been struggling to cut some rods for antler cane toppers. Oh. I'm not sure I know exactly what that is. I'm trying to figure out what that is. All right. Run over to my reference photo real quick. Got the creativity, not the endurance. Yeah, I get that. The endurance sometimes is not always there, right? But you build the endurance by consistency, you know, by doing what you love. I'm sorry, I think it's a Tyson quote: "Doing what you hate as though you love it." That's where discipline comes from. I'm using a veiner here. This is a small curved gouge. This is like a 3 or 4 millimeter veiner to dig in the inside. Actually, this is a 2 millimeter veiner. I caught myself lying to you. I meant to ask, should I be expecting an invoice for the balance on the Green Man? I have no issue merely sending you the balance without the invoice. Yeah, no, you should be looking for an invoice from me. If I could get my my butt to the laptop. I've just been carving like a wild man, getting ready for an art show, and so you can send the balance without the invoice. And what I was hoping to do today is get my assistant to send out your carving, but he ended up having to go to. He has another internship he's doing, so unfortunately I couldn't get him to run it for me. So I've just been working on that inventory, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So, but yeah, if you send the invoice, I'll make sure and run to the post office. But go ahead and maybe wait on that until Monday, because I'm camping. I'm a camp counselor, and I'll be leaving tomorrow at 6 a.m. For just the weekend. So I do appreciate your patience on that, though. I really do. Yeah, I like to conduct my business and my shopping on the live streams. It's really actually helpful. I should just hold a live stream once a week for everything business and shopping, I guess. Why not? Because things definitely get away from me sometimes. Okay. All right, I've got 11 minutes on the clock. This was a good session. Lots of good questions today. Lots of good comments. I enjoyed it. Always enjoy the live streams that we do. They a lot of fun. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes carvings come along really quickly. Like this one seems to be coming along pretty quickly. And then others, not so much. So I don't know what that is. I've noticed the live streams really help to get me out of my head. It's perfect because I'm not teaching, so I don't have to distract myself with logical stuff. Like talking about measurements and symmetry and all that. So they definitely seem to come together a little bit more comfortably than when I'm teaching. And these live streams, I mean, they definitely do. They do better with the live streams. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. You live streaming wood carvers. All right. All right. So I was talking to Rick Harney about this recently, and in a live stream conversation that we had, not a live stream, a coffee and carving show chat, and it was avoiding the use of V-tools too early in a carving, because a lot of times the cuts will be too sharp and you'll draw attention to wherever that you're using that V-tool. So notice that I V-tooled under the eyes because I do want to draw attention to the eyes. But I'm trying to avoid using the V-tool too much. Okay. Have you carved any type of witch or spooky character in bark? Maybe I have. I think so. Yeah, I have done that. I leave work early on Wednesdays. I can't miss your live. I always learn. Oh, I really appreciate that, S. Chapman. That's very touching, actually. Okay. Okay. We're coming down to the wire here. Not a lot of time left on the clock, but we're just having fun. Getting as much done as we can. Setting that eyebrow and structure in. I've been making myself busy preparing to show and see if I can get them in the shop amongst others' artwork. Awesome. Good for you, Titus. I'm zooming out a little bit so I can show you my plans here with this one. All right, so now I'm using a, I don't know what this is, to be honest, a 7 maybe, 6mm 7. To come in, and I want to start catching bits and pieces of this wood in here. Down here, rather. Going to the Little Bighorn over Labor Day. All right, hey John. Flying to Bozeman, cool. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Do you have a minimum amount of pieces to prepared for a show? Yeah, I in my head, I tend to think about the fact that I have 9 panels. Say say three of which will have double sides, so you'd be able to put a carving on both sides. Yeah, we'll go with three. We'll say three of which. So then there's, what is that, 12? And so I need at least 12 carvings to fill up my display once. Plus stuff that sits on pillars. So that's actually an additional, it's 16. So I need 16. So I have an absolute minimum of 16. I need to have 16, but I would like to have more, definitely. I would like to have 30. I'd love to have enough to fill the booth twice, so that if something sells, I can replace it and then still have a decently full booth. That's the goal, but it doesn't always work out that way. I'll be close for this show. I'll have close. I won't quite have 30, but I'll have probably like 27, 28, and that's including the big carvings. All right, so I could now come in with the V-tool and sharpen these cuts up. I'm gonna try to keep them big sweeping cuts. In fact, I'll use a bigger V-tool for that, but I'm gonna come back down and do a little bit more with the gouge and catch a little bit more of this detail down here. Because look at that, look how cool that is down there. Come to the other side. All right. I'm gonna grab a little bit smaller of the Vayner. I'm gonna go with 6mm. My camera's a little too close here. Little bighorn, land of my people. The Sioux, very cool. I find my cottonwood bark. Birdman, people ask me that all the time. Where they can buy cottonwood bark. I don't buy cottonwood bark. The last bark that I bought was from a friend who doesn't sell. So, yeah, I really don't have an answer for that, other than I used to be able to, years ago, I would buy from BC cottonwood bark. And I'm not even sure if they're still, I'm hearing that they're kind of low on inventory, but you can check there by just Googling BC cottonwood bark. They might have something for you. I don't know. It's sad to say. But yeah, I'm sure there are other sources. So if you guys, pool together, and if you're buying bark consistently and you want to let us know where you're getting it, feel free to comment and help people out. Sometimes I've got too many tools on the bench and it makes it hard to figure out what to do. Or like what to reach for next. Because I can't find it. All right, we got 45 seconds on the clock. I wish we had cottonwood trees in Quebec, but we don't. Yeah. Well, to be honest, we don't have cottonwood bark here either. That's any good. Well, we have thin cottonwood bark. I have to end up traveling, out. I mean, I have to take a, basically a 30-hour trip to get bark. Let's see. I'm from Australia. Do you carve while you do your shows? I'm always concerned with safety when I do so at markets here. Yes. Hey, Chris. Yep, I do. I do demonstrate at all of the shows that I go to, and I've never had any problems with safety that I can think of. Maybe I just conveniently block them out. I do remember one kid grabbed my tools and I had started a carving and he made a big X on the nose. He carved it off and then stabbed the face. But so you do risk that if you leave your station and your tools. You could have a snot-nosed kid coming over and carving your face off. But other than that, no, it's been pretty good. I try to try to stay carving during the show so I'm not losing track of my tools and such. But no, I've never really had an issue. Always have somebody at your booth though if you are leaving your booth and there are sharp tools around. I'll say that. Oh, my timer's going off. All right. Well, that's that, guys. I'm going to finish this one shortly. In fact, I'll probably finish it tonight. I could stay on for a few more minutes if a couple of you want to stay. Up to you guys. Actually, I'll let you vote. Do you want to hang out while I do a couple more, few more cuts here? While I wait for my wife at the grocery? Or I'll just drop off and make a post. A couple of you want to stay. Okay. I'll hang on for a few more minutes. I'm going to set the timer I'll do 15 more. We'll just actually see if we can't get this thing dialed in, get it finished. A couple of you are going to stay. Cool. I'll stay just only because, I might as well let you guys see what I'm doing since I'll be doing it anyway. And, give folks the opportunity to see what's going on if they want to. So. Okay. Really liking the piece of wood. And I know I usually say that when I don't like a carving. Here's a close-up of the face, where it's at so far. And a little zoomed out. No, I don't know. I genuinely, that's not true. I'll say I like carving, and I'll say I like the piece of wood if I do, so. But it is a joke in the carving world that if you really hate one of your students' carvings, you walk up to it and you say something about the wood. Oh, wow, what a great piece of wood you chose. There's just nothing to compliment on the carving, right? So you find something and it ends up being the one thing that they have no control over. So I'm going with the wild wood spirit hair. So I started with the veiner, and then I went in with the V-tool to kind of define the grooves and the tufts of hair. So it takes 2 cuts to create a hair, and they run parallel along each other, or a grouping, or really it's a subgrouping of hair. Which is just, when a few hairs get together, they gang up on you, Yeah, be careful out in the streets when these hairs be ganging up on you. Okay. Now I want to bring the viewer down into this piece, so I'll have a couple of streaks coming down here. I want people to see all the cool things going on down here. hair to move all over. Coming down low. Sometimes I'll pull out the riffler. Lately I've been using these a lot. But word of caution, when you're using these rifflers, I'm actually looking for my riffler as we talk here, but don't do sand once you've finished using the riffler, because the riffler will not leave an even surface to finish. The grain will raise when you put your clear coat on there. So use the riffler, but just be careful to sand the area that you use the riffler on. I've learned that the hard way the last couple days with a bunch of carvings that I've had to refinish. Oh, very cool. At some point I want to break into larger portrait carving. Yeah, right on. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. So is spoon carving though. So is lots of forms of carving that are just they're a blast. So I don't always like smoothing it out too much. I like leaving the cuts in there. Sometimes I regret if I take it and just really smooth it out, get rid of all the character. Yeah, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. It's amazing how just a little moving your light a little bit will make the whole thing look different. All right, guys, pretty close to wrapping this one up. I'll have to spend some time on it, get it to a good spot, a better spot even, and not to say that I don't like it now. It's just not where it needs to be yet, but I'm gonna keep putzing on it, and it's dinner time for me. I'm going to take off here and get some chow, and appreciate everyone tuning in. Always means a lot that you guys make time on Wednesdays for this, 5 p.m. Eastern. I try to do it every week. Thanks, Savage Woodsman. Appreciate you. Carol, what type of rifflers are you using? The rifflers are made by Milani, Milani, I believe. Milani, yeah. Let's see. Yep, Milani. I ordered them through Sculpture House. This is just one technique of doing hair. I don't always subscribe to it. I don't always do the one gouge and then V-tool type situation. Just a mode of carving that I'm using lately. I like the look of it at times. Sometimes I don't. It's just kind of a good contrast to the wood, to the silvery bark exterior, or the bark of whatever tree you're working with will kind of contrast that when you're trying to tie it in. So that's one of the things I like about it. Yeah, sure. Go ahead with the question. Odd Jaw says he has a beginner question. Yeah, no problem. I'll answer a question and then I'm gonna be off for lunch. Dinner. What am I doing? It'll be a late dinner or lunch. Boy, oh boy, my brain's tired now. I'm hardly making sense anymore. It's time for bed. Old woodworker who is brand new to all hand carving. Is there a time when you would not sand a piece, like to make it look chunkier, folkier? Oh yeah, I was just talking about that. When I sand a carving, now I do it lightly, and then if I zoom in here, you'll see all those carve marks are still visible. I don't want to sand all of those away like I used to. So yeah, I do like to leave things intact as much as looks appropriate. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I had fun. Here's a look at where we're at so far. Lots to develop down here tying this in, but that's the way it's going. So kind of a cool piece of wood, and if I can just get back a little bit here, you can see. And that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next live stream. Be good. Have a good night.